So, now that we have seen how to use how to formulate the Frobenius method, let us look at applying the Frobenius method, and we will apply it to a very well known equation called the Bessel equation. Okay. So, let us go to the Frobenius method for the Bessel equation, and this will lead us to naturally to something called Bessel functions. Okay. So, what is the Bessel equation? So, the Bessel differential equation has the following form: x square y double prime plus x y prime plus x square minus, call this v square y equal to 0. Okay. And v is some constant. Okay. We will just say that right now we will just take v as a constant, as some real number. Okay. Now, this Bessel equation, okay, so this I will mention right now that it appears naturally while solving circular boundary problems. Okay, so a problem with usually plane problems with circular boundaries, this appears naturally. So suppose you have a drum, a vibrating drum, okay, with where the perimeter of the drum is circular, okay, then you will see Bessel functions appearing very naturally in the solution of that problem. Okay. Now, we will also, I mean, this also appears when you use cylindrical polar coordinates. Okay. So, when you use cylindrical polar coordinates, you will naturally see Bessel functions. Okay. Now, let us take this equation. Now, what we see is that your at x equal to 0, at x 0 equal to 0. Okay. So, this is a of x 0 equal to 0, b of x 0 divided by a of x 0, this goes as 1 over x 0. Okay. So, this is not faster than 1 over x 0. Okay. So, it is not faster than 1 over x 0. Okay. So that means it is 1 over x 0 to a power that is not greater than 1. Okay. Similarly, you have c of x 0 divided by a of x 0. Okay. So, this goes as 1 minus v square over x 0 square. Okay. Now, the leading term, as x 0 goes to 0, okay, the second term will become very large. Okay. So, this goes as minus v square by x 0 square, and it is not faster than 1 by x 0 square. Okay. So basically in this case you have the usual conditions, you have the conditions for a regular singular point. So, that means x 0 equal to 0 is a regular singular point. Okay. If it is a regular singular point, then I can write my solution. Okay. So, I can use Frobenius method and write y is equal to sum over n equal to 0 to infinity a n x raised to n plus r. Okay. So, I can write this as a solution. Okay. Now, once you write this as a solution, then you can go ahead and you can take it the first derivative and the second derivative and then substitute in that equation. Okay. So, let us do that. Okay. So, let us look at the first derivative. So, y is equal to sum over n equal to 0 to infinity a n x raised to n plus r. Okay. Now, what about y prime is equal to sum over n equal to 0 to infinity a n into n plus r x raised to n plus r minus 1. Okay. What about y double prime is equal to sum over n equal to 0 to infinity a n n plus r n plus r minus 1 x raised to n plus r minus 2. Okay. So this is what you start off with. Notice that instead of in the previous case we just had n x raised to n minus 1, here you have n plus r x raised to n plus r minus 1 and so on. Okay. Now when you substitute this in the differential equation, so you go back to your differential equation, x square y double prime plus x y prime plus x square minus v square y equal to 0. So when you substitute this, so x square y double prime, that will look like sum over n equal to 0 to infinity a n n plus r minus 1 x raised to n plus r, okay, plus sum over n equal to 0 to infinity. Now notice I had n plus r minus 2 and then I have x square y double prime. So then it becomes n plus r. Similarly x y prime will become y prime multiplied by x. So I have a n n plus r x raised to n plus r, okay, and then I have x square minus nu square. So x square minus v square. So the x square term will look like sum over n equal to 0 to infinity a n x raised to n plus r plus 2 and minus v square sum over n equal to 0 to infinity a n x raised to n plus r equal to 0. So this is our equation. Okay. Now the lowest power of x in this equation, so remember n goes from 0 to infinity. Okay. So the smallest power of x, so if n equal to 0 then you have x raised to r, if n equal to 0 you have x raised to r, if n equal to 0 here you start from x raised to r plus 2, and if n equal to 0 here you have x raised to r. So the lowest power of x in above series is x raised to r. Okay, now you look at coefficient of x raised to r. So if you look at the coefficient of x raised to r, then what you have is in this sum you have to have n equal to 0. So if n equal to 0 in that sum, then what you will get is a 0 into r minus 1, n equal to 0, and then you have x raised to r. Okay. The second term, in this case you have n equal to 0, so what you have is a 0 times r. In the third term, even if you have n equal to 0, you will have x raised to r plus 2. Okay, so the third term will not contribute. So this term will not contribute to x raised to r coefficient. What about this last term? So last term will contribute to x raised to r. So that will be minus v square a 0 x raised to r, and this has to be equal to 0. Okay, this is what is called the indicial equation. Okay, and this indicial equation, okay, you can just cancel a 0 across this indicial equation and you get your indicial equation can be written in the following form. So if I just cancel a 0, then I just get r square minus r plus r minus v square equal to 0, and what I will get is r square minus v square equal to 0. Okay. So there are two roots. So that means r square equal to v square, r equal to plus or minus v. So two roots. So now you have two roots, okay, plus v and minus v. Now we have to look at the various cases. Okay. So suppose we look at the case. So case 1, v equal to 0. Okay. So then r implies r equal to 0. Okay. So two roots are identical. Case 2, v is an integer. Okay. Now two roots, now in this case two roots differ by an integer. okay, two roots differ by an integer. Now what you have to do is you have to apply the Frobenius method, okay, and you have to calculate one root, and then you can either use variation of parameters, or you can directly calculate the second root and check if it is linearly independent. Okay. Third case, so V is not a half integer. So half integer. Okay. So I should mention that V is an integer or a half integer. Okay. So in either case, whether V is an integer or a half integer, then you have the difference between the two roots is an integer. Now if V is not a half integer, okay, then two roots do not differ by an integer. Okay, that means your 2V, which is if you take the R1 minus R2, this is equal to 2V, is not an integer. Okay, and in this case your solution, your two R1 and R2, so you have two linearly independent solutions corresponding to R1, which is V, and R2, which is minus V. Okay. So these are the three cases, okay, and each of these leads to various kinds of solutions, okay, and actually each of these cases, okay, has many physically relevant problems. Okay. Now one particular case, okay, which leads to a very well known function is so the case of V equal to 0. Okay. Now when V equal to 0, okay, then basically you have only one root, so you can find one solution using the power series method. Okay. So now the solution using power series method we will see the properties of this. Okay. Now I will just mention one properties of this. Okay. So the solution using power series method, this turns out to be a convergent power series. Okay, I'll explain briefly what a convergent power series is. Okay, and it is referred to as Bessel function. Okay, so this convergent power series is referred to as Bessel function of first kind. Okay, so there are various kinds of Bessel functions. This is called the Bessel function of first kind, and we popularly refer to this as the Bessel function. Okay. So, so how do we understand this? So, the case when V equal to 0, okay, so that is referred to as the Bessel function of first kind. Okay. So, now V equal to 0, and also for integer V. So, if V is an integer, for integer V, that is what we refer to as a positive integer. So, the positive root. Okay. So, when you take R1 equal to V greater than 0, okay, so you take absolute value of V. Okay. So, now this power series, this also leads to convergent series, power series. This is also called Bessel function of first kind. Okay. So, the Bessel function of first kind appears whenever you have V equal to 0 or V is a positive integer. In fact, what you want to say is the following: you want to say that y is equal to sum over x raised to n plus V, where V equal to 0, 1, 2, etc. Okay. So, we will see this in a few minutes. Okay. So, V equal to 0, 1, 1, 2, etc. Okay. So, then the an, I forgot the n equal to 0 to infinity. So, this will be the starting point of that power series solution. Okay. Now, let take this as a power series solution, and now let us substitute, let us go back to the power series that we had and see what the recursion relations look like. Okay, so what does the recursion relation look like for such a power series? Let us go back to what we had here. So before we had the initial equation, we had this condition. Okay, now what we are saying is that R equal to V, okay, which is and V is a positive integer. So we have these two conditions, R equal to V and V equal to V is a positive integer. If we just take the recursion relation that we had, okay, and we put that case where R is, instead of R we have V, and we say that V is a positive integer. Okay, so let us just go ahead and do that. Okay, so we had n plus r minus 1 x raised to n plus r. Okay, and so if we just go ahead and write that in the following form. So we have sum over n equal to 0 to infinity a n plus v minus 1 x raised to n plus v plus sum over n equal to 0 to infinity a n plus v x raised to n plus v. So these come from the first two terms, and then you have an x square term. Okay, so that looks like sum over n equal to 0 to infinity a n x raised to n plus v plus 2. Okay, and then you have minus v square term. So you have minus v square sum over n equal to 0 to infinity a n x raised to n plus v equal to 0. So this is the general solution. Okay, so the first thing is we already saw what is the coefficient of x raised to v. Okay, now suppose we look at the coefficient of x raised to v plus 1. Okay, so if you look at the coefficient of x raised to v plus 1, so now if you look at the coefficient of x raised to v plus 1, then what we get is the following. So in this case, if you want v plus 1, then n has to be equal to 1. So you get a1 into v plus 1 into v. Okay, the second term will be a1 v plus 1. Okay, the third term, now here you can never have v plus 1 because this starts from v plus 2. So this will not even contribute to v plus 1. Okay, and then you have minus. Now if you want v plus 1, then n has to be 1. So you have v square a1 is what you will have from here. Okay, and this equal to 0. So what you get is v plus 1 v. So what you will get is v square, if you just cancel the a1, okay, this will v square plus v plus v plus 1 minus v square equal to 0, and therefore you get 2v plus 1 equal to half. Okay. In other words, this solution, so x raised to v plus 1 actually gives you, so when you set the x raised to v plus 1 term to be 0, okay, then you get this relation that v equal to minus half, or sorry 2v plus 1 equal to 0, and you get v equal to minus half. Okay. So this is the condition that you get by setting the x raised to v plus 1 coefficient to 0. Okay. Now you go back to this equation. If you look at the terms, so either you get I'll say it this way, a1, okay, a1. So v equal to minus half, or or a1 equal to 0. a1 equal to 0. So, those are the two possibilities that you can get. Okay. Now, v equal to minus half, okay, is not the solution of interest. So, basically you get a1 equal to 0. Okay. So, this is not what we are interested in. Okay. So, we get a1 equal to 0. Okay. And now, what you get is the following. So, basically if a1 equal to 0, now if you notice here you have v plus n plus v plus 2, and here everything else is n plus v. Okay. So, that means if a1 equal to 0, then so a1 equal to a3 equal to a5 equal to a7 equal to 0. That is a condition. Okay. So, if each of these are 0, okay, then you only have the even terms to worry about. We already saw the case that we are insisting that a0 is not equal to 0, we got the indicial equation. Okay. So, now you have a0. Now, what about so a0, a2 etc. not equal to 0. Okay. And again, if you work out this solution, okay, so we can look at let us say x raised to n plus, okay. So, we look at we look at the coefficient of x raised to n plus v. Okay. So, if you look at the coefficient of x raised to n plus v, okay, then what you will get is the following. So, from the first term you will get a n times n plus v minus 1. From the second term you will get a n times n plus v. From the third term, now in this case you can have n plus v. What I am going to say is where n is greater than or equal to 2. Okay. So, if you look at where n is greater than or equal to 2, okay, so then you will get a raised to n minus 2. Okay. So, that will be the coefficient of x raised to n plus v. So, if you want n plus v, okay, then you have to have a raised to a of n minus 2. Okay, then this will be n minus 2 plus v. So, that is plus 2. So, that is n plus v. Okay, and then you will have minus v square a n equal to 0. Okay. So, this gives you an equation that relates a n equal to minus a n minus 2 divided by n plus v minus 1 plus n plus v minus v square. Okay. That is equal to minus a n minus 2 divided by n plus v the whole square. This is n plus v whole square. Okay. So, whole square minus v square. So, that is equal to minus a n minus 2 divided by n square plus 2 n v. Okay. So, equal to minus a n minus 2 divided by n plus 2 v. Okay. So, this is your recursion relation. Okay. And what you can do is you can take this recursion relation. Okay. So, this recursion relation, notice that series does not terminate. Okay. So, you can never have a n equal to 0 for any value of n. Okay. You can never have a n equal to 0. Series does not terminate, it is an infinite series. Okay. So, however, you have one property that if you take infinite series, okay, that satisfies a n divided by a n plus 2 or a n minus 2 if you want, a n minus 2 is equal to minus 1 over n plus 2 v. Okay. So, this tends to 0 as n tends to infinity. That means, as n tends to infinity, this ratio of an to an minus 2 will go to 0. That means the series is convergent. Okay, so it is a convergent series. Okay, this convergent series is called the Bessel function of first kind. And it is denoted by J V of x. Okay. So, this J V of x is this convergent series, that means you have an infinite series starting from a0 and then all those things. Okay. So, the a0 multiplied by that infinite series is called the Bessel function of first kind. So, Bessel function is actually an infinite series. So, what is the infinite series? So, this is J V. Okay. So, J V of x is basically x raised to v times sum over minus 1. So, x raised to v was the prefactor in that you had x raised to n plus v, right. So, this n plus v, I just took the x raised to v outside, okay, minus 1. So, this is from n equal to 0 to infinity, minus 1 raised to n x raised to 2n divided by, so only the n is even. So, that is why I took x raised to 2n, okay, and what I have here is 2 raised to 2n plus v, and then you have n factorial and you have n plus v factorial. So, this is what you get. So basically if you use the power series method in the usual way, you will get this as the convergent series when v is either 0 or a positive integer. Okay. So, this is the solution of Bessel equation for v equal to 0, 1, 2, etc. Okay. And this is one solution. Okay. So, this is one solution, I will just say this is one solution obtained by Frobenius method. Okay. The other solution is obtained by variation of parameters, okay, and this is called Bessel function of first kind, sometimes that is called the Bessel function of second kind and so on. Okay. But basically we will just stop here in the discussion of Bessel functions. Okay. So, we just see how the Frobenius method gives you a solution, okay, in the form of an infinite series, but we checked that the infinite series is a convergent series, and this is a function, okay, Bessel function of first kind. It is a very popular function that appears in a lot in physics and in engineering and even in quantum mechanics. Okay, we will we will see some applications of this. We will see the circular boundary condition problem, okay, where we see, okay, but before that we will see some properties of the Bessel function in the next class. Thank you.